Reporting to the media this week at the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council media briefing is the Chief Secretary, Honorable Kelvin Charles, and the Executive Chairman of the Tobago Festivals Commission, George Leacock.
Today, I have with me Mr. George Leacock, who is the Executive Chairman of the Tobago Festivals Commission. And we shall be dealing, among other things, with the whole issue of Jazz 2019. But before we get into that directly, I just want to say something about some events that would have taken place in the recent past. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware that our Main Ridge Forest Reserve has been named the Caribbean Nature Park of the Year in the Caribbean Journal's Green Caribbean Awards 2019. And that this award has been given for the first time. And the award is in celebration of those making a difference towards creating a greener territory. As you know, our Main Ridge is the oldest forest reserve in the Western Hemisphere and was proclaimed a forest reserve by an Act of Parliament in 1776. You may also be aware that the Main Ridge was acclaimed as the world's leading eco-tourism destination by the World Travel Awards for the years 2003 through to 2006. And again, it is one of Tobago's main attractions, and it continues to be an integral part in respect of the expansion and development of our ecotourism product niche, because generally persons who visit are usually thrilled by the lush tropical fauna and flora. And of course, they also enjoy the nature walks, mountain biking, and the bird watching. So for us, it is significant because it is an inaugural award, and Tobago has won that award. Now, last week, on Wednesday the 24th, the THA did launch a rural film initiative. And that initiative is a combination or a collaboration among the Tobago House of Assembly, some independent film distributors or facilitators, and the Trinidad and Tobago Film Company. The program seeks to develop dramatic stage plays from past heritage festivals into dramatic films. And I want us to understand that, because what we are doing is moving to the point where some of our productions coming out of our heritage festival can be used to produce films. And therefore that has the potential to create employment for those who are interested in the creative industries or the creative sector. And more importantly, it allows as well for the branding of Tobago in a particular way. You may recall that many years ago, it was said that the film Robinson Crusoe was filmed in Tobago. And therefore, to the extent that Tobago can once again become a preferred destination or a preferred location for these kinds of activities, can only redound to the benefit of Tobago, its economy, and the people of Tobago. So that some of the objectives of this film initiative are: one, to produce heritage films from the rich history, talent, and results from our annual Heritage Festival. to train filmmakers and potential filmmaker making practitioners in Tobago to further develop a growing Tobago-based film industry, to demonstrate the possibilities of film as a feasible career and viable cultural product that integrates the cultural heritage sector, cultural tourism, and community development towards a long-term Tobago-based film industry. And of course, to further develop local tourism to rural areas through community film screening. And those are some of the key objectives that we expect to come out of this initiative. Now, in one of our daily newspapers, there was a headline screaming, "Tobago hotels sing the blues." And I just want to take this opportunity to place on record the statistics that we have concerning a number of our hotel providers. Now, Tropicist. For Easter, 100%. Jazz Weekend, 100%. As a matter of fact, they also got last-minute requests, but all rooms were gone. Bacolod Beach Club, pre-jazz, 60%. And that would have been the Easter weekend. And jazz weekend, 80%. Blue Waters Inn, Easter, 100%. Jazz, 100%. As a matter of fact, I was told that they wish they had more rooms available. Montervin Bay Hotel, 72% Easter, 61% jazz. Le Grand Coulon / Grafton, 80% Easter, 80% jazz. Magdalena Grand, 90% Easter, 92% jazz. Crown Point Beach Hotel, 86% Easter, 75% jazz. And that's just some of them that we were able to get statistics from. And what this demonstrates quite forcefully is that the contents of the article may have been a bit misleading. And in fact, a number of properties would have done quite well. Interestingly, we were unable to get statistics from the villa sector. And the villa sector, we know, is a sector that seems to be growing. But of course, most of those villas, as you know, are owned by persons not living in Tobago. Additionally, if you drive around the western, southwestern part of Tobago, you are likely to see a number of properties under construction. And the nature of those properties alone will tell you that they're not residences per se. And the question we have to ask ourselves is this: if in fact the hospitality sector is suffering as some people are making it out to be, what would motivate someone to invest in that sector? So as far as I'm concerned, the fact that one continues to see rapid construction in this sector suggests to me that something positive and good is happening. More importantly, people are seeing investment opportunities Otherwise, they wouldn't do that. And I also want to say to you that in respect of international arrivals, in 2018, international arrivals for the period just ended, so that's January to April, were at the level of 10,229. For 2019, international arrivals for the period being reviewed were 12,450, representing a percentage increase of 17.8%, or in terms of actual numbers, 2,221. Again, what this is demonstrating, ladies and gentlemen, is that there is growth, or there has been growth from this year over last year in respect of international arrivals, and we're talking 17.8%. So that the strategic plan under consideration, or that is being currently executed by the Tourism Agency in conjunction with the Division of Tourism, Culture and Transportation, has begun to bear fruit. And as I say that, I could just take the opportunity to advise that the Secretary of the Division of Tourism, Culture and Transportation is currently leading a delegation to Canada, where the new brand is being rolled out, just as we did at World Travel Market in November last year and at ITB Berlin in March of this year. So the plan is to go there and seek to penetrate the market, because Canada has been one of those areas in North America that we think is viable and feasible, but we have not tapped into over the years. And as part of developing a robust market overseas, the journey is on. One of the things that I want to take this opportunity to speak to as well has to do with the leased aircraft that is currently operating on the air bridge. Because as you know, it has been leased until September. And it is the first time in the history of the leasing of aircrafts to augment the route that it has been for this long, 6 months. And I hope the press takes due note of that. And what needs to be said very forcefully as well is that we have created an opportunity for those involved in the hospitality and tourism sector, particularly the accommodation subsector, to exploit that availability, in the sense that May and June are usually considered slow periods, but the aircraft is here. And therefore, those involved in that sector can in fact promote domestic travel through roadshows, etc., and through packages, hotel packages, that would allow persons to feel that they can come to Tobago at a reasonably priced package without any hassle. As a matter of fact, I did have a conversation with the president of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, Mr. Chris James, and he has indicated that the association is likely to do just that and to organize at least some roadshows, one beginning on the 11th of May in Trinidad in an attempt to take advantage of the opportunity that now exists. Having said all of that, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we just had another successful run of Jazz. In fact, Jazz 2019, on the basis of anecdotal reports, it is suggested that the success is over and beyond the success of 2018. What I want to emphasize is, for the first time, there was a cover charge to enter Speyside. And to those who may have felt that it might have been retrogressive, the overwhelming turnout would have indicated otherwise. So I just want to emphasize that, and to take note, for you to take note that even in the face of introducing a cover fee for Speyside, it had absolutely no adverse impact or effect on the success of the festival.
I'd like to, first of all, I would normally first thank the staff, volunteers, the police, and so on. But on this occasion, I'd like to go first to extending our condolences to Toni Braxton, who would have essentially returned to the United States to the death of her niece. All of her team were a little bit tight-lipped and a little bit stiff over the weekend, and we were wondering why. And I think we finally found out when the information broke yesterday that her niece had in fact passed. The relationship between a performer and all those persons who would have been here, those who were here in advance, those who came along with her security officers and all of that, I'm sure affected, and our condolences go out to them all. And then, true to form, I want to especially commend the Office of the Secretary, who facilitates at that level all of our staff at the division, the Tobago Festivals Commission. And then so many people that I would probably get into trouble immediately if I started calling names, but let's in block talk about the security services, the Division of Works and Infrastructure, and all other divisions of the Tobago House of Assembly that contributed in some way, form, or fashion to make the exercise the success it is. That is to be extended as well to numerous members of staff at the Caribbean Airlines, the Airport Authority, the VIP lounge in Trinidad, the security officers there, and a number of other persons. And I will not forget at all to mention all of our service providers who were engaged to provide services, from hotel room services, meals, and everything else for the festival, to put the Festivals Commission in a position to present the festival as best as we could for persons who came in to enjoy a show. And I am certain I can tell you that people did in fact enjoy 3 days of great performances, and at the end of the day, we are aware of the hiccups and we'll continue to work to rectify them, to make the necessary changes. That would ensure that maybe we have at least a different kind of hiccup the next time, not necessarily the same one. But that at the end of the day, putting quality on stage with clear sound systems and good lighting and all of that, that persons can enjoy, it's the number one goal, and we were able to achieve that, and we're very, very happy. The numbers game is always the interesting one for the media, but what I can tell you is that we do have secure couriers collecting tickets, finalizing distributions, money, and all those kind of things that you imagine we would have to do. Our last guest in Tobago operating on our behalf or as part of the festival only left last night. And our tallying this year, because we did not use the NLCB system, includes collecting tickets and results from 9 different places in Trinidad and about 3 different places in Tobago. So it's going to be a little while before it's all straight and square, but it will be. But I can clearly indicate that in the place where there was none before, there was insignificant number. And at Pigeon Point, we have done better. I really don't want to push in terms of figures, but we've done better probably by at least 1/3. The special addition of the VVIP option was also very well received and well patronized. And we're really looking forward to wrapping this one up and putting it to bed, learning the lessons from it that would guide 2020.
Initially, Mr. Leacock, from what you have gathered thus far, would you say that you have made a profit?
I am sure that Tobago has made a profit. If we use the projections normally used for estimating tourism returns, the returns were significant. And when the study results come out, it would indicate that. In terms of the event, if you are talking about a dollar-on-dollar return on funds spent on RTs and systems and so on, that was not an initial objective, but certainly our cost recovery and our cost control methodologies have worked, and we expect that the overall output from the assembly will probably be less, and the overall returns from gate receipts, sponsorship, and that kind of thing will be more.
I know in terms of an evaluation of jazz, that paperwork in terms of information is yet to come out, to be disclosed to the media. What about this year's festival? How will the evaluation take place?
Dr. Hazel from the Division of Finance put together a team, methodology, and reporting mechanisms. Those persons were deployed for the festival, and we look forward to their report. And the report being done in-house is a step forward for us, because it's an indication that our professionals, led by Dr. Hazel, are confident and capable of the task and have taken the opportunity.
What do you think would have contributed to the overall success, as you said, of Jazz 2019 in light of late marketing efforts? Well, hiccups.
Well, first of all, the marketing effort was very good. When I myself started getting a little tired of my phone dinging off in the middle of the night with WhatsApp blasts and all that kind of thing from our outsource provider, the uptick on the social media of requests and concerns, and what do you get in VIP and what do you get in VVIP and all of that, basically paralleled the uptick in marketing. That's one. Two, as I said earlier, key to successfully running any kind of entertainment is the entertainers. The process for securing the services of the entertainers is extremely complicated, needs to be handled with kid gloves. Persons will not appear on the show with other persons. Some people wouldn't go on stage beyond a certain hour in the night and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, you didn't just want anybody, but you wanted people to fit the demographic that you thought would travel and participate in the festival. So it's a very, very tedious process with a lot of negotiation, a lot of back and forth, and finding the right mix is important. At Speyside, coming out of the experience of last year, we thought it best to have a stronger soca representation to sort of match up with the heavy representation we were getting of the Jamaican music. And Image and Company, Ola, Swappy, and Taylor were able to provide that. Desperados, the band at Pitch and Point. I don't know if people were able to notice if you went to Trinidad, were advertising on our behalf since Carnival come to Tobago with Despas for jazz. They had banners up in the pan tent and all that kind of stuff. The steel bands that went to Trinidad for the small band competition also where Tobago dominated, all had banners in Trinidad advertising the festival as well. So that while the marketing was late, it was very robust, it was targeted, and it presented the results that we had. But it's really, really much easier to market high quality performances than to market, persons that people don't really want to see. In terms of content as well, because we've already drifted in that area, we were very happy to put on as many local talents in terms of Tobago and in terms of Trinidad and Tobago as we could. The Jazz on the Waterfront expanded that opportunity with 3 stages. And I am still kind of asking the media, if you have any videotape from any of the stages that I was not at, I want to see what happened at those stages, because every time you went to a stage, you were magnetized. The presentation of the Calypso and local stage was risky, but it in fact attracted, if not, it seems to me like the 3 stages attracted equal audiences, and people sort of decided that this was my cup of tea, and they sat and they had that cup of tea and well enjoyed it. So we were happy for that, because that presented another opportunity for a lot of young Tobagonians and even a band on debut. And on every other stage, really, the reviews were very, very good. Content.
Okay. In terms of the Esplanade, so it's going to remain free now?
What I can say is one continues to evaluate. As the ground continues to shift, appropriate decisions will be taken in that regard.
And staying right there with you, Mr. Chief Secretary, what I wanted to find out, though, is, on another note, were you surprised by the arrest of Mr. Ram Logan? And also, I know Mr. Senator Ramdeen would have turned himself in, but were you surprised by these arrests?
Why would I be surprised? I don't know why I would be surprised. The truth be told, in this country, one is not always aware of what the police are investigating. And as you are aware, there have been allegations on both sides in respect of misdemeanors. As a matter of fact, it is the police commissioner who some time ago would have been the one who would have said how he was approached. Yes? And I think it was Mr. West as well, who had said he had received a call from Mr. Ram Logan. So that these were issues to some extent in the public domain. So one really just had to sit to wait to see whether there was any legitimacy to these issues. And of course, an arrest has been made, but we'll wait to see how it evolves.
Thank you for tuning in to another Post-Executive Council media briefing for the week ending May 4th, 2019.